Resin Bound is the fastest growing surfacing solution in the UK. It is being embraced by landscapers, developers and surfacing contractors nationwide who are quickly recognizing it as a considerable sales opportunity. There are many hard surfacing systems available on the market, including Bitmac, concrete, block paving and imprinted concrete. No other surfacing system offers the same range of strengths, resistances, structural and aesthetic benefits as Resin Bound. These include permeability. As more houses are built, the risk of flooding increases. As a result, the government has introduced legislation which requires all new driveways to comply with SUDS regulations. SUDS is the Sustainable Urban Drainage System. Resin Bound meets all planning requirements for new builds and renovations when it's laid on a suitable porous base, such as a special concrete or open-textured Bitmac on top of Type 3 stone. Let's look at just how permeable it is.
We think it's really important to be able to show your customers how permeable Resin Bound is. Here's a sample we made using an oven baking tray. The permeability of Resin Bound is 850 litres per square metre per minute. It's never going to rain that hard. Here's a simple way to show your customers the permeability.
Low maintenance. The Resin Bound aggregate system is incredibly strong and durable and will remain so for many years thanks to its low maintenance needs.
As well as being permeable, Resin Bound is also easy to clean and is achieved by just a simple jet wash. It's also resistant to oil spillage. If you accidentally spill oil onto it, it's easily cleaned off with hot water, washing up liquid and a jet wash. Due to the close-knit texture of the surface, it's also extremely weed resistant, unlike block paving. If you also add in the fact that Resin Bound does not fade, is frost and slip resistant and gives a beautiful seamless finish, then it's easy to see why it's growing so quickly in popularity.
Fantastic choice of colours. Derbyshire Specialist Aggregates offer the widest range of colours in the UK, so from golden quartz to white flint, the vast array of naturally coloured stone provides a huge amount of choice to customers. Create your own blends. Blends of colours can be mixed together to create bespoke colours that satisfy every customer's needs.
All we need is a bowl with a lid, 2 samples of dried aggregates and some vegetable cooking oil. First we start by adding the 2 sample bags of dried aggregates into the tub. We then put the lid on and give it a shake to mix the aggregates. Now you can add the vegetable oil. Give it a good shake to make sure that all the stones are covered in oil. Vegetable oil gives a good representation of the effect of resin on stone.
Create any designs. A Resin Bound system can be adapted into any shape imaginable, providing a beautiful alternative to paving, tarmac or concrete. Standard or formable beading is very flexible and can be used to create any number of visually exciting designs. Whatever shape your customers want, circle, square, star or even their own logo, beading is available in a variety of sizes and depths to provide stunning results. They may sound very similar, but Resin Bound systems and Resin Bonded systems are completely different. Resin Bound is a system of laying a hard-wearing course of mixed resin and dried aggregates onto either a new or existing Bitmac or concrete base. The aggregate is mixed in with the resin. The resulting material is troweled onto the surface in an even layer. This leaves a smooth, flat finish with no loose gravel. Resin Bound creates a permeable, porous surface which allows water to drain through. This is a SUDS-compliant solution. For Resin Bonded, the layer of resin is spread across the surface and the aggregate or gravel is scattered into it. The majority of the aggregate will adhere to the resin while leaving some loose on the top. This gives the appearance of loose gravel. This surface is non-porous and is not SUDS-compliant. The process of mixing and laying is simple, but requires accuracy at every stage. There aren't any shortcuts. We recommend that you begin by sorting the dried aggregate into batches. And please remember that stone is a natural product, so bags of aggregates from each pallet should be mixed to guarantee consistency. The formula for mixing resin with dried aggregates has been carefully designed, and it is so important that the specified blend is not varied. To achieve an optimum strength surface, a resin-bound installation should consist of UV-stable resin and hardener 7.5 kilograms, a blend of 75% 2 to 5 mm dried aggregate and 25% 1 to 3 mm stone, that's 4 bags in total, 1 bag of 6.25 kilograms of C52 sand, fine crushed glass to broadcast on the surface to provide slip resistance. Your installation team should consist of at least 3 people. These are the mixer, the luter, the troweler. Each has a series of key roles and responsibilities to ensure the work is completed safely, effectively, and without wasting any time or money.
The mixer is responsible for the following. Stage 1. Place one 25 kilogram bag of 2 to 5 mm stone and one 25 kilogram bag of 1 to 3 mm stone into the mixer. Stage 2. Add the pre-mixed resin. Now is the time to start the stopwatch. Stage 3. Add the 2 remaining 25 kilogram bags of 2 to 5 mm stone. Stage 4. Slowly add the bag of C52 sand. Stages 2 to 4 must be mixed for the same duration during every mix. Failure to do this will cause colour variation in the mix. We strongly recommend you use a stopwatch when mixing. Mixing should take no more than 5 minutes once the resin has been added. Once the sand has been added, make sure it has been distributed evenly throughout the mix. When ready, empty the mix into your lined barrel. Switch the mixer off, then ensure all mix is scraped out of the mixer, taking special care to remove it from the blaze and from the door opening. The force action mixer needs to be cleaned down after each mix. This avoids the build-up of resin and lengthy cleaning of cured resin at the end of each day. It also avoids contamination and clumping. Any residue from previous mixers could end up in a new mix, causing problems for the troweler. The mixer should be wiped round with white spirit to remove all residue. The mixer should also check that everything is in good order and the blades are not worn, ideally after every mix. Excessive wear means uneven mixing. Lightly spray the inside of the mixer with WD-40 when clean. This will stop the resin sticking so much to the mixer.
There are a few important things to remember. Do not use aggregates that are damp in the bags. Insufficient mixing time in the mixer can lead to uncoated material. Each mix must be mixed for exactly the same amount of time to avoid variations in colour. For each batch, make sure the correct blend of aggregates is used. Keep aggregates in the shade if necessary. If they heat up, they will decrease the curing time of the resin. Laying a resin-bound surface on tarmac on a hot day will also decrease the curing time of the resin. Start the job early if it looks like it's going to be hot. The luter takes the mix to the troweler and tips manageable quantities of the material, ensuring the mix is spread as evenly as possible. This is important as too much material means more troweling and working on the mix. Most importantly, the luter needs to look at the surface that has been previously troweled and check for trowel marks and inconsistencies from every possible angle. Any marks or anomalies can be easily rectified at this stage before the mix is cured. The troweler's job is to plan the laying route and grid the area out in squares with chalk. The troweler also lays the battens in place to indicate where the luter is to tip the mix. Once the luter has leveled the mix, the troweler begins laying. A screed bar may be used prior to troweling. It's important the trowel is cleaned with white spirit before starting and also regularly throughout troweling, about every 6 strokes. A dirty trowel becomes increasingly sticky and will drag aggregate out of place. Take care when cleaning the trowel. White spirit will mark the surface. To avoid spillage, always clean in a direction away from yourself and the area you are troweling. Tidy edges make a real difference to the finished result. Start by leveling and packing aggregate up close to every edge to ensure there are no gaps. The troweler needs to knit the mix together, making sure the aggregates form a closely compacted, level surface. The trowel should be used with the edge slightly raised away from the stroke. Keep a consistent, light but firm pressure. This will prevent the trowel digging into the mix. The mix should be troweled until the aggregates stop moving in a fluid movement and become solid. All this needs to be done in as few strokes as possible. A quick way to check it is level is to lay your trowel on the surface. This will show up any unwanted undulations. Finally, the surface is smoothed and given a final sheen or polish. The final stroke of the polish must always be in the same direction so that a uniform and consistent shine is achieved across the whole area. To test the mix as knitted and as compact, cut a section into the edge of the surface being troweled. It should remain intact. This is also a good way to check that you are troweling to the required depth consistently. Finally, remember to always leave the leading wet edge a little rough and unworked so that the next batch of aggregate can be seamlessly and easily blended into it. A light, even sprinkling of glass provides additional anti-slip qualities which we recommend for all installations. Once the job is finished, the area needs to be clearly marked out with cones and warning tape to help prevent people walking on the surface. It is a good idea to take a photo of the cones and tape in place to show your customers. Derbyshire Specialist Aggregates runs a one-day resin-bound training course. This video introduces some areas covered on the course. Run by independent contractors, the course is practical and hands-on, with questions actively encouraged. You will also have the chance to try out some of the techniques you have learned. One free place is available to every company. For more details, visit resinbondedaggregates.com or phone or email us.